Just a quick update video on what's happening in the fish room. I think it's been about 3 weeks or so since I've actually done a video. My pools are cycled pretty much. I have Malawi cichlids in them. I was going to put the live bearers in them, but at the moment Malawi cichlids, you can't really see them in the dark. Albino blue dolphins, I think there are some tangerine peacocks, Dimbiachromis of some species, and a few other bits and pieces in there. I think the Rostratus and the Lombardi. Just going to do a quick feed video. We're going to feed the groper because the groper always eats. I'm not going to feed the big red tail. If you're new to the channel, this is the red tail we had in the shop for 18 years or so. So been home for about the last year and a half. So he's about 20 years old now. Wondering why he doesn't look big. He is pretty big. That's about 3 foot, so 90 centimeters, 36 inches, something like that. Very big fish, but it is a very, very big tank as well. I do want to upgrade and get a bigger tank, as I keep saying, but I'll have to move first. But he's pretty chill. He has actually already been fed, hence the big belly on him. So he is just chilling, but we are going to feed the other red-tailed cat in the other tank, and we're going to feed all these guys, which are super, super messy at the moment, because all they do is eat. Have not bred many fish in the last month or so, so I do need to clean all these tanks out, take a lot of these fish to the shop, so barbs, tetras, a few other bits and pieces, growing up some cool blue angel fish and that. Yeah, they'll be in another video, but this video we're just going to feed some of the big stingrays around the other side. I've updated and done a little bit more work around there, and then we'll get back into breeding L numbers and a few other bits and pieces. Let's jump to the fish feeding. We have a small problem with a little bit of a leak happening. Don't worry about leaks. This is another, what do we got, 9x4. I have a smaller red-tailed cat, which is about 2.5 foot. We have our bigger stingrays. We have some peacock bass, silver arowana, which is about 70 centimeters. So it doesn't look 70 centimeters. That's 70 centimeters. You'll see when the food goes in. It's a red-tailed cat. So these fish eat quite a lot, probably a couple of kilos every few days, and they get pellets as well. So that hand feel is completely gone. Vacuum cleaner. There is a giant gourami, a red-tailed giant gourami, and a dat in here somewhere. They mostly like the pellets, but every now and then they'll eat some of this stuff. So this area is a giant mess. I have been moving all the stuff that was along here, which you probably haven't seen, and it is now here. 4-foot tanks. They are going to be, well, they kind of half connected up to the ponds, which are behind these 4-foot tanks, where the big tanks are. That is another 9x4. That is I think that's 9x5 pool with stingrays. Empty tank, which has to be moved. 4-foot tanks, water pumping up into there, back in again. But temporarily in this tank, we have our BICHIR. So these are just Senegal BICHIR, which we've had for 100,000 years. Just feeding them a little bit of mixed seafood. They've already been fed today, so they're probably not overly keen. Once they get a taste for it, they'll be fine. Okay, the tank below their BICHIR tank has got one Saratoga, nom nom, and it has a couple of Stingray pups. And these are just pure Matoros. For my bigger Matoros, you'll see in a second. Yes, that is Guppy. So there's a few stingrays in there. The bigger girl is not impressed because the male's been breeding with her again. Okay, there may be a few fish in this tank. Come feeding time, when everyone comes right up to the glass, kind of need to go to the end. So you can see that there is actually some room in there until all the fish come up to greet me. Very big giant gouramis, tons of peacock bass, tons of Oscars, another Saratoga, some iridescent sharks. Little dude's got a little bit beaten up, so I may have to take the little one out, but there is a bigger one in there. Hemianthus cats are doing well. They've actually got quite big, bigger than I thought they would get. They're maybe a good 40 centimeters, maybe a little bit bigger now. There's one, male. There's a couple of really big girls way at the back. You can see past all these fish. Some bigger plecos at the back as well. That is 4 foot back, so it's a bit hard to see. Oscars, pretty sure that one there, that red tiger and that red Oscar are the babies that we birthed, I was going to say, birthed in the shop. Were born in the shop about a year or so, 2 years ago, something like that. Lots of Kilberry peacock bass. There's a few mono bass in there. There's a couple of black belts. There's our big male, big male dovey and the female dovey. Some Northern Territory salmon-tailed cats. A few other assorted things, DYMAX, flowerhorn, etc. Let's give them some food. So these guys get mostly pellets, but obviously the bass and that need meatier food. That just inhaled everything. Okay. Dovey's got one. Oh, look. She's pinched it off him. Wow. And then the gourami's trying to get it off the dovey. Okay. Probably should give you a whole lot of pellets in a second. One more lot. Oh. Oh. As long as no one jumps out. I don't think anyone did, so that's good. Toga, maybe about 50 centimeters, give or take. It's really hard to judge the size of all these fish. The Oscars are around about that sort of 30, 40 centimeter. Give you an idea. Those big dudes there are probably about 60, maybe 70 centimeters. Most of the peacock bass are around that 30 to 50. There's a few smaller ones about 30 or so, like that little dude there. Well, he's a she. Yeah, so an assortment of sizes. I will have to split these up. There's the big dovey, wolf cichlid. He's getting pretty big, and I think she's about to lay eggs again. Let's find them some pellets. I've been feeding them a lot of this stuff, which is the DYMAX Jumbo Achieve. So a fair few of my customers have tried it. Some have liked it, some haven't. Not the customer themselves, but the people feeding the fish. Wait, no, not the people feeding the fish, the actual fish. All my fish seem to enjoy it. They took a little while to get used to it, as you do with most new fish foods and stuff like that. But the pellets are a decent size. And yeah, there hasn't really been anyone that's not interested in it in these tanks. They pretty much inhale it before the catfish can get to it. So I'm gonna have to put a fair bit in. I'm going for about 1 kilo every day or two at the moment, which is quite obsessive, but if you're gonna buy nice fish, you might as well feed nice fish. There we go. Catfish are getting some. Even the giant gouramis seem to be enjoying it, even though they like more vegetable matter as they get bigger. Mr. Oscar with his face in the way. There's a hemianthus. Lovely catfish. They are a right pain to keep together unless you put them all in at once when they're little and just let them deal with it. Every now and then, like that male missing a few whiskers, they have a bit of a scrap and rip each other's whiskers off, but they do grow back. Pretty awesome fish. I've always wanted the red-tailed cat, which is a slight different species than these ones. That's the Asian red-tail, not the South American red-tail that you just saw, but near impossible to get in Australia, unfortunately. These guys stay a lot smaller and they're not as aggro. Look at the poor scars on that fish. I may have to get them out. They're a little bit wussy, these guys. So these are iridescent sharks. Yeah, he's a little bit nipped, so I may have to rescue those two. Put them somewhere a little bit safer. It's possibly the dovey wanting to breed way down there. On to the next tank. The bumblebee groper is kind of eating a lot now, as we knew it would. You missed a bit, it's behind you. There's still a couple of blue damsels, smart enough to get out the way. There was 6, but 4 of them have gone through the overflow. They now live in the sump. There was a crab in the sump, so maybe there's only 3 left in the sump, but they're still living their best life. Let's find some more food. So around about 65, 70 centimeters, give or take. This tank is 3 foot wide, still not as wide as the tank. I will have to upgrade soon, obviously. Very cool, very big fish. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up so I know. Feel free to subscribe. If you want to watch other stuff, click that. If you want to watch more fish room stuff, click that. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.